Hello, loves, and welcome back to the Spooky Sessions. Or if you're new here, hello and welcome to what I am calling the Spooky Sessions. This month, we're doing an entire month dedicated to an evil month since it's Halloween month. I'm kind of going with the theme of each month for my coaching, trying to spice it up a little bit, make it exciting and new and different, and this month it's spooky. So we're breaking down each of the 7 deadly sins and what we can learn from each of the 7 deadly sins, as I believe evil is out there. And if we're not using evil to somehow benefit us, we are using evil to harm us instead. And that is not what we want, because evil, as far as I'm concerned, is here to steal, kill, and destroy. That's what I've always been told by my grandmother. So why would we want that? We don't actually want that. So we're either here to weaponize evil against us or, use it for our own good. So that's what we're here to do, is kind of find the middle ground between holy ground and rotten soil, and kind of just go in the middle and figure out what's in the middle. There's got to be something, right? So that's what we're doing this month, is kind of breaking it all down and figuring out what we can learn from evil. So I already did do all of the first 6 deadly sins, including wrath, but wrath is my personal favorite deadly sin. Is it weird I have a favorite? And I have a very, very interesting perspective, if I do say so myself, on wrath. Therefore, I am here to cover my very own interesting perspective, if I do say so myself, pridefully. There's another sin that I do kind of like. It's so much fun sometimes. Anyway, so today we're here to cover woman's wrath. I guarantee you've never heard anything like this. If you have, I'm genuinely humiliated by the fact that I thought that I sort of trademarked this, but I think I did. So we're just going to pretend that you haven't heard anything like this, because I don't think you have. So today, I'm here to break down wrath, the sin of wrath, the deadly sin of wrath, but I'm going to plot twist it to woman's wrath. And this is going to be a very different video than most of the others I've done. As you can see, my aesthetic is a little bit more spooky. And I kind of like it better. I should have done all my videos this way, but it's also just a little bit much. So I saved my cool aesthetic for my favorite topic with my favorite aesthetic. Dark. If you're on my podcast listening to this, sorry, check out my YouTube channel. You can also view the aesthetics. All of my videos also go onto a podcast. You can check it out. Make Wave is Mermaid Kassandra. And if you're on the podcast, you can also check out all of my YouTube content. Make Wave is Coach, or Mermaid Kassandra on YouTube. It goes on both. Let's dive in, or should I say let's fall down, because let's go down. We're basically talking about hell in this topic, which, before you freak out, it's not going to be as bad as you think. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Look, I am very, very fascinated with hell, and I'm going to get into this in a minute, but I am very much so not interested in going to hell. I just find hell absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. And I'm so excited to talk about this. Honestly, this is a video I have wanted to make for literally years. I mean, probably about 3 years now, and I've made a bunch of short videos on it, but it was just it didn't cover all of the topic because there's so much I want to say. And I'm so happy to finally be doing this, and I'm going to stop rambling now so I can actually just dive in and get to the point. Have we not all heard the saying, "Girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what little girls are made out of"? People think of women as nurturing, loving, caring, anything nice, really. That's just what women are associated with those traits. Guys, on the other hand, are known to be like what? Tough and like muscles and men and toads and trucks and tools. Lots of T's. Testosterone. Have you noticed though, when men get mad, they just get a little bit more mad? They just get more mad. That's really all there is to it. They get more mad. Women, on the other hand, when women get mad, women go insane to the point there are literally sayings like, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And there's nothing like a mad woman. Why is this exactly? Has anyone ever really thought about the exact reasons as to why women who are known to be so nice and nurturing and loving and just all things good, why is it that they turn so psychotic when they're mad? And then men who are known to be like tough and muscles, they don't even get all that mad. They just get madder, but they're not woman level mad. Why is that? You would think it would be the opposite, right? Like women just get a little bit more mad. Men, on the other hand, want to destroy things. No, it's the opposite though. And has anyone ever thought about why exactly this is? Besides me? Because I've thought about it and I am here to break it all down. Now, if you're not religious, I don't want to say exit out of this video because I do think that this is a very beneficial video. Even if you're not religious, even if you don't agree with anything I'm about to say, I do think that you can understand my perspective and understand context of what I'm trying to say. I think it'll give you a good insight. Now, I know you all came here for Evil Month, and I'm not trying to be like, psych, Jesus, but kind of accidentally psych Jesus. Because listen, God is essentially love, right? This is what I've always been told, is that who God is God is love. And the opposite of God, Satan, the devil, hell, is wrath. And I'm going to break this all down. The only book of the Bible that I have ever read fully is Revelation, because it's dark and I love it. I love it. The dark and the dragons and the what else was in there? I don't remember. 4 horses? I like horses. Oh, speaking of horses, the tribulation. The Bible talks about how we are not entitled to God's wrath. And I've done a lot of research on this. I find it absolutely fascinating. I believe that the tribulation, which I know a lot of people believe in, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't believe in God at all, so I get that. But the Bible says that we are not entitled to God's wrath. And God's wrath is the tribulation, I believe, in my opinion. Not saying that my opinion is everything. I'm just saying that this is my opinion and this is my channel and you're on my channel, so you're here to listen to my opinion, so hear me out. In my opinion, the tribulation is God's wrath. Did I say this like 4 times already? Sorry, bear with me. And if we are not entitled to God's wrath, we are not entitled to the tribulation. And in my opinion, the tribulation is pre-hell, which is hell on earth. If you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, you're probably so lost right now, and I'm so sorry, but please just bear with me. So hell, I believe, is the opposite of heaven. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Okay. Heaven and hell are opposites, right? Therefore, I believe God, who is love, and wrath are opposites. Because again, hell is wrath. because the tribulation is wrath, and the tribulation is hell. Therefore, hell is wrath. God is love. I was completely trolling this pastor. I had a list of questions, and I was going over all of them, like, explain this, explain that, but what about this? But what about that? And was, trolling him. And I was like, okay, listen, what makes God love? I didn't think he'd have an answer. And at the time, I thought this was the worst answer I'd ever heard. He says that God is love. He said that's who and what he is in his nature. He is love. And I didn't understand it at the time, but the more I thought about it and really thought about it, I was like, okay, this does sort of make sense, because women are love in their nature. In their nature, that's who and what they are, is love. They're nurturing, they're kind, they're generous. Debatable. They're caring, they are sugar, they are spice, they are everything nice. That is who and what women are in their nature. Right? And people don't question that. People know that. Men know that, and that's why they weaponize it. That's why the government puts on every single shirt in the women's clothing department, stay kind, be humble. Stay humble and kind and be humble. Live, laugh, and love. And always stay humble and kind and love always. And oh my gosh, men's clothes don't say this. No, they don't. Point is, people know this. People know that this is woman's nature. To be kind and loving and love and love. And love. And love. I mean, have you ever texted a woman? She'll send hearts like every 2 sentences. She says love like every other word. It's funny that I'm actually a woman, because I am so not this way at all, because it's just, I feel like I would be a complete doormat if I did this. I can't even imagine how much I would get walked over if I talked like that. I'm realizing in real time, this is why I have a YouTube channel. I have to meet people who are on my level. Even if they find me on the internet and they live in Africa, at least we vibe, you know what I'm saying? Back to my point. Have you ever listened to The Art of Seduction? It talks very much about this in the beginning of the book. I say listened to it because I listened to it on audiobook, but I'm sure the book is the same way. I just can't imagine, like, opening up a book like that and reading it. I feel like you would have to have, like, a long white beard. At The Art of Seduction book, audiobook, whatever, talks a lot about women and how they knew that they were being played, because that's the psychology of who they are and how they are, and basically that's how seduction started, is they flipped the script onto men trying to seduce men because they were tired of being manipulated. Well, then it kind of flipped. It backfired on women, because then men started seducing them, and now we're in the world we're living in. It's 2023, and it's on its way to hell, isn't it? We're all going to hell in a handbasket. Luckily, you'll have a little bit more understanding of it, hopefully by the end of this video, so you know what you're in for. So I find it very interesting how God is love, right? And God is heaven. It is all one big canvas. And it's funny how we all, I think, have this image that blessings pour down. We never say that blessings come up. I mean, unless you mean like it just kind of like appears in your week. Oh, a blessing just came up. But nobody talks about blessings rising. They fall down, right? Prayers go up, blessings come down. That's just how it works. And I think we all just kind of know this to be true. And I think we all know that heat rises because heat is under us. It rises. Fury rises, right? I think when we talk about getting buying anger from the grocery store. When we talk about getting angry and fury, we never talk about it coming down, I don't think. We talk about it rising. We just feel like it's just boiling up, right? Because wrath is under us. Hell is under us. All of those emotions are under us. Everything good comes from above. Everything bad comes from below. The Bible also says, the flames of their torment rise forever. It rises. I am very knowledgeable on hell. And people ask me all the time, because I talk about this all the time. They're like, why do you always focus on the bad and the negative and the dark and the evil? Okay, first of all, Karen, the Bible literally talks about hell more than it talks about heaven. First of all, you know why? Because we need to be warned about hell. Because we need to know why we want to avoid hell and actually go to heaven and not hell. That's why. Aside from that, doctors are known to be healers, right? They're healers, they're curers. Doctors are known to be good people. I mean, in this day and age, we think of them as kind of just scam artists, but that's besides the point. We still go to them anyway when we get sick because doctors are healers and curers. And they have a solution. And they have the knowledge. Why is this? Why do they know what to prescribe us when we're sick for whatever we're sick with? Why do they know this? Because they study the disease, the sickness, the cancer, whatever it is, they study it. That's why they know. They study the majority of their career, they study the sick. They don't study life. They can't understand a cure until they understand the root issue of what is this and where is it even coming from. We can't have a good day without having a bad day, right? To know what a good day even feels like. And it's because of our bad days that makes us actually appreciate our good days, right? I believe we have to live in the dark a little bit to appreciate the light. How can we appreciate the light when we don't know we're even taking it for granted? We don't know how scary the dark even is. So people who are not religious love to use this example. Why would such a loving God create an eternal pit of fire? Why? Which is a good question. And I've contemplated on this a lot. And I have really no good answer except for the fact that I believe this correlates with women. Why would such a loving, wonderful woman who is sugar and spice and everything nice have earned the expression, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned? Why is this? Because when you take the opposite of love, you get wrath. When you look at men aren't known to be loved. They're kind of just men. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they're not really love, but they're not really wrath. They're just kind of in the middle. And when you take something that's just kind of in the middle, you just get more in the middle. And the opposite. You don't really get these extremes. Women, on the other hand, are the extremes. They are love and they are wrath. There is no in between. You either get love or you get wrath. Take your pick. All you have to do is not piss her off. It's really interesting to me because I asked you guys on a Q&A about 3 years ago, because I meant to make this video about 3 years ago. What do you guys think is the opposite of love? And I was fascinated by your response. Your responses were hate, empty, envy, evil, death, sadness, and fear. I find this so utterly fascinating because all of these things that you guys named as the opposite of love, in my opinion, all of these things sum up wrath. Tell me hate, emptiness, envy, evil, death, sadness, and fear does not sum up wrath. And what's even more fascinating to me is when you look at the opposite of all of these words. What is the opposite of hate? Short answer, love. I don't believe this. I don't, because I believe that wrath is the opposite of love. But what is the opposite of hate? Love. I mean, what other answer are you going to come up with? Also, because I believe that wrath is like an extreme version of hate, where love is love. This is also why I've struggled, sorry, not to get totally off track. This is why I've struggled so hard to believe in love. Like, I really genuinely struggle to believe in love because I'm like, love does not have segments. Like, love is just one word and it covers everything, and I think it's so bizarre because people are just like, I love pizza, I love you, I love him, I love Pink, I love Justin Bieber, and like, but God is love, and then love is being in a relationship, and I'm like, where are the categories for love? Like, which love means what? Why are there no other words for all these different emotions? I don't believe that one word means the same thing for all these different categories. I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I believe there are so many other words to describe the opposite of everything I just named. That being said, back to the opposite. So the opposite of hate, I believe, short answer is love. What is the opposite of empty? Full. What is the opposite of envy? Generous. What is the opposite of evil? Good. What is the opposite of death? Life. What is the opposite of sadness? Happiness. What is the opposite of fear? Peace. All of these, to me, all of the first ones that I just mentioned, sum up wrath. And what's interesting is all of those words are found in hell. In hell, you're going to find emptiness, envy, evil, death, sadness, fear. And what's interesting to me is all the second words I just named are found in heaven. In heaven, you will find love, fullness, life, goodness, happiness, peace. And this is all exactly, again, you guys gave me those words. You guys gave them to me. And this is what I came up with. In my opinion, the opposite of feeling, like genuinely feeling, touch, is not feeling, is just being numb. And numb and not feeling is where I get the middle ground of indifference and apathy, just lacking apathy. How many times have you been in a friendship or a relationship or any sort of ship where you just care so much, so deeply for this person? and they just don't care back. It's like no matter what you do, you just know that they will never feel the same way about you. And you just get to the point, it's like you love them so much, but you almost just don't even care if they do crash and burn, because it's like you've tried everything. You have tried everything. And they just couldn't do it. And you just got to the point that you just couldn't do it. This is how I believe God looks at us. He gets to the point where he's like, okay, you know what? I've tried everything. And if you just can't change your mind, I don't know what else to do. And it's not that he doesn't ever stop loving us. It's not that I ever stopped loving my ex-best friend. I still love her to this day. I just can't be friends with her anymore. I just can't. I still love her. But I just can't do it. I've tried and it just didn't work. I also view women's wrath in the same context with men. If a man doesn't feel the same way about me as I feel about him, I don't want him in my life. I don't want him in my house. I don't want him in the world that I have created for myself. My heaven, my sanctuary of peace and happiness. I don't want him in it. If he doesn't feel the same way about me that I feel about him, this is how I feel God feels about heaven. If we don't feel the same way about him as he feels about us, why would he want us in his kingdom? I believe God, much like people, loves people from afar until we really get to know them and really understand their intentions. You know, we love people outside of our home. We don't usually welcome people into our home immediately. We got to get to know them first. Got to play it out, feel it out. Make sure their intentions are good before we welcome them into our home. This is how I feel God feels about us too. Why invite us into his kingdom right off the bat if we never even earned it? If we don't feel the same way about him, why should he let us into his kingdom? He loves us from afar. It's still love, but there's distance. You gotta keep the distance. Space. Gotta have space. You know how men are in their space. I have watched endless hours of people who have gone to hell. I think I've spent at least 4 hours in one night studying videos of hell. I'm telling you, I have an obsession, and it's weird. It's really weird. One time I actually met this dude who was as obsessed with hell as I was, and I was like, it was like I have never in my life felt a chemistry like that. Like literally we hung out and watched videos of hell for hours. It was awesome. And talked about hell for hours before the videos, and then talked about it some more after the videos. Like, needless to say, it didn't go anywhere. How can you actually have like a good relationship with someone when it's based on hell? It was just the fact that like I have never related to someone on that level before. But then again, it's that level. Like the 7th layer level of hell is not a good level to be relating to someone on. But anyway, so one time I was watching this video of this dude who went to hell, and he mentioned how when you're in eternity looking at your life on earth from eternity, it's just a flash. It's so fast. It's just that. Because you're in eternity. And when you think about your life here on earth, even if it's 80 to 100 years, when you're in eternity, that is nothing. That is nothing. And I know that's terrifying to think about, but it's true. I find it very interesting how I believe God will spend his entire life, his entire existence loving us. And he will bless us our entire life here on earth. But in perspective, that to him is just a flash. Just a flash. It's not that long. Even if it's 80 to 100 years, it's just a flash in his eyes. An eternity, it's just boop. So from his point of view, he's only spending, what, like a day? Probably not even a day of his existence wasting all that time and energy and love on us, right? Waiting on us, waiting to see if our mind will change. Whereas we will spend a full day, week, month, year, years on end, sometimes in worst cases, even our entire life, waiting for a guy to love us. But this is our life. Our entire existence here on earth is our entire existence here on earth. And we need to be looking at our entire existence here on earth from the same perspective of if somebody in our life, whether it's a dude, your ex-best friend, whoever it is, whoever you have wrath towards and you want revenge against, whoever it is, you need to only give them a flash of your energy. A flash. And if they can't give it back, bye. Turn that flash into a goodbye. Give them less than a day of your precious time and just give them a flash of your attention and move on if it's not going anywhere. It's so funny to me how men are always so confused how women turn so psychotic. And where this wrath and fury and rage comes from when women are supposed to be so nice and loving. Well, it's funny to me because players will come along, right? And players will love bomb and create that heroin drug loss. Because when you fall in love and then it's withdrawn, you get that withdrawal of literally a drug loss. It literally registers in your brain. It releases the same chemical in your brain as doing drugs. And love is literally a drug. That is not just a saying. Love is actually drugs. And it creates that heroin. It's literally compared to heroin. Drug loss. When a woman falls in love and then loses it. So when you get her love and then you withdraw it, what are you creating? What is it? Her wrath. Duh. Her wrath. And you did it yourself. You did it yourself. Don't act like you don't know where this is coming from. I probably should have showed this earlier, and I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to make this out, but this is my marker board I drew. It's not good. Don't judge. I meant to actually put this on a marker board, but I ended up making my marker board my dream board because I got carried away and I wasn't sure how soon I was going to make this video. And long story short, my dream board looks too good to take apart, so I just had to draw it on a notepad. I'm so sorry. I literally bought a marker board for this video. This is disappointing, but this is my example. So here we have, I feel like a teacher right now. All right, students, listen up. Jeff, honey, pay attention, eyes up here. So here we have love, right? And God is up here. This is God is love. There is good, peace, life, blessings. Everything, the opposite of wrath that I mentioned is up here. Wrath, on the other hand, is down here. Wrath and hate, empty, evil, envy, death, sadness, fear, all the things you mentioned, and also all of the 7 deadly sins will also be down here, which are what? Pride, gluttony, greed, envy, wrath, sloth. Is that all of them? I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, lust. Lust. Duh. One of my other favorites. And so then here we have, so wrath is under hell, I believe, because wrath rises up. Hell is a place, but the motion I feel goes up because heaven is here. But God is above heaven. Because God is above heaven. And so it all pours down. So here we have heaven and then hell. And then in the middle, we have me. See? That's me. A very not cute version of me, but it's me on a bad day. And here we have apathy and indifference. Also the two things that belong in the middle, in between heaven and hell. Does this all make sense? Or like, are you guys tracking? So basically, love from afar. Because you're not going to cross that border, that golden gate into heaven without loving first. Just like how you're not going to cross that barbed wire fence, the electric fence, I don't know, into hell without all these 7 deadly sins first, right? That's why we're in the middle. We're in the middle of apathy and indifference. So which side do you choose? It's kind of interesting when you look at it from this perspective, isn't it? Well, that is all I have for Woman's Wrath. I genuinely want to hear your guys' opinion on this topic. This was, again, something that I had been wanting to share for like 3 years now. I just knew that it was going to be what it was. It's why it took me so long. And I honestly think that I could have done it better with my marker board, but it wasn't worth destroying my dream board. So sorry about that. I would have walked you through it the whole time. Sorry if you're listening to this on the podcast. It probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you know what? Watch it on the YouTube channel. Also check out my podcast though if you are on my YouTube channel. Back to that. Check out my podcast, Make Waves, Mermaid, Kassandra, every place podcasts are found. You can also follow me on almost any social media platform at Mermaid Kassandra because I am a professional mermaid. You can also follow me on almost any social media platform at Make Waves Coach. You can also book a free discovery call with me for more like this or anything in between. Mostly dreams related is kind of my primary niche. I will help you follow your dreams and get out of your own personal hell. Whether that's your job or your life situation or whatever it is, I would love to help you get to the heaven in your life where you are at peace and happiness and fulfillment and have love. How's that? And no wrath. Sounds good? Sounds good. You can book a free discovery call with me in the link in the description below. I will talk to all of you guys in the next video with the final, last but not least, deadly sin, sloth. I've been stalling on that one, kind of intentionally. All puns aside, it is the last deadly sin. So stay tuned for sloth. I will talk to all of y'all soon. Go out there